Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. Did you know that only 9% of people that make a New Year's resolution actually stick to it for the whole year? So, how do we make our health and fitness goals something that we really commit to for the year ahead? So it's really important that, we don't write goals that are not achievable. Start with something small. So when I go through these with my clients, it's, we sit down and we work out, what is your schedule going to be like? Let's be realistic. If you have a really demanding job or you have young kids and you know that your commitments are going to be working all day, running the kids around at night, then we need to find time in your schedule where you can do 5-minute workouts or something that works around, like if you're a night person and that's when you like to exercise, don't commit to going to morning classes or lunchtime classes because they probably won't happen. If you love doing strength work, but you commit to doing stretching because you know it's something that you need, you probably won't end up going to do that. So you want to make sure that one, you're picking things that you enjoy. So, if you do need more stretching or Pilates or, body weight work or stuff to enhance your movement, then I would take smaller chunks of that stuff, like whether it's a daily movement or, integrating that into your daily week where you're just doing 1 or 2 exercises and then focusing on the part you enjoy, which might be doing a group class, it could be doing private training, it could be doing whatever it is, running with friends, and making sure that you have that in your week's schedule. Looking at things like, can you add more water in your day? That's a really important part of our health. And when we don't get enough water, it can, make us really tired in the afternoons. When we're dehydrated, we don't feel like training after we've been working all day. So adding, 2 extra glasses of water a day, which maybe you weren't doing before. If you already drink lots of water, that's fantastic. There might be other things like getting outside for 20 minutes a day. A really important part, sunlight, sunshine, being on the earth, all of those things. These are all great recovery and health tools for us, which actually energize us. And when we're energized, we want to train. We want to go out, we want to do things. But when we don't, when we're lacked in water or being outside in the sun, we actually get drained and tired, and then going to exercise becomes something that's very hard for us. So when we're writing our health and fitness goals, we want to be looking at those things. So we want to be looking at, we want the strength, we want the flexibility, we want those things, but how are we going to get those things if we're drained and tired? So we want to look at those sort of nutritional factors, and it's not so much about the food. It is about food because, obviously we want to eat good food, but we also, water, sunlight, earth. 3 really, really important things for our physical body and our mental body to feel rejuvenated and energized so that we can do all the other stuff. You obviously want to look at, maybe if you are somebody that eats a really high sugar content, can you cut that down? Don't write a resolution that's going to say, I'm not eating sugar anymore, because you'll probably only last a week. But you could say something like, I'm not going to eat that afternoon sugar snack that I eat every day. I'm going to only eat the one in the morning, and then when you cut that down, you can, then move on to reducing the other, session of sugar eating that you do. It might be caffeine. You might say, I drink 3 coffees a day. I know for me, I'm a coffee drinker. I love it. So mine is, cutting out that 3rd coffee in the afternoon and only having 2. I will never cut coffee out altogether because I would never last. So it's really about picking achievable goals, because when you do that and you achieve them, you feel so fantastic that you achieved what you wanted. And it might be 3 months down the track and you might go, well, you know what, actually wasn't that hard for me to cut out that afternoon snack. So maybe I'll try and cut out that morning one as well. And you end up on this gradual progression to being a healthier version of yourself, where when you sort of cut out things cold turkey, it works for some people, but a lot of people, it's really hard. And then it just becomes too hard and you just sort of like, throw in the towel. You might be someone that is trying to lose weight and you're trying to reduce the amount of calories you're eating. I say to clients all the time, it's really important that you don't, suddenly starve yourself and, try to lose weight, because it will not last. There's lots of different methods. There's obviously intermittent fasting, there's doing regular small portions, and you really have to find the right diet that works for your body. I have plenty of clients where fasting does not work for them. They can't do that. The weight gain doesn't go. It doesn't kind of work for their system. They don't feel good on it. But, they switched to small regular portions that were calorie controlled. They lost tons of weight. So it's really important that you find the right sort of diet that works for you, and that you don't try to restrict your food too much or how much you're consuming, but you really look at like what you're consuming, what's the content of sugar, fats and unhealthy carbs. Are you consuming soft drinks, cutting those out, and just going through like small things and making those small changes and then reassessing them, after a month or so, and saying, okay, I'm going to say until February, I'm not going to drink any soft drinks. And then in February, you might go, wow, okay, that actually made a huge difference to my body. So now what else can I do to tweak this? And then you're on that gradual progression to a healthier version of yourself, more energized, more productive, all those things. If you have any questions about any of this, then please just drop it in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. I'm very, very interested in all things health and wellness. So, opening up that line of communication is great.